China is building the world's biggest dam in Tibet. This dam would make its three gorgeous dams smaller.
The race to transform high-speed rail travel is only heating up with China's latest train.
China is making waves in the world of infrastructure with an eye-popping $500 billion investment in a mega-project that promises to reshape the global landscape. From towering skyscrapers to vast high-speed rail networks, this ambitious venture isn't just about building for today. It's about preparing for tomorrow. With such a colossal sum on the line, you might be wondering, what exactly is China planning, and how will this massive undertaking impact the world? Let's dive into the details of this game-changing project that's set to push the boundaries of engineering and innovation. A bridge that redefines distance. Let's start with the Fan Viaduct, because calling this thing a bridge is like calling a rocket ship a bus. This engineering titan is a key part of a nearly 2,000-kilometer railway that links central and southwest China to Inner Mongolia. Think of it as the spinal cord of a supply chain that feeds into China's massive coal logistics network. This isn't just long, it's almost ridiculous in scale, stretching 8,000 meters with 216 reinforced concrete piers. The tallest pier reaches 74 meters high, roughly the size of a 25-story building. And the foundation dug as deep as 91 meters just to make sure it doesn't flinch under the weight of 20,000-ton trains that run up to 2.5 kilometers long. Yes, 2.5 kilometers. That's basically a freight train playing Snake on hard mode. It's specifically designed for coal transport, capable of handling up to 200 million tons per year. That's not just good engineering, it's economic efficiency on steroids. Trains now take half the time they used to compared to road transport, shaving off billions in annual logistics costs. This isn't just a structure, it's a core piece of China's national infrastructure strategy. Now, from the tracks to the turbines. Towering over the Jinsha River, the Baihetan hydro power plant looks like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. With an eye-watering $26 billion price tag, it's one of the largest hydropower facilities on Earth and a cornerstone of China's renewable energy ambitions. It generates over 16 gigawatts of power, which could light up an entire country the size of Greece. But beyond raw output, this megaproject is a masterclass in harnessing natural geography to meet industrial-scale energy needs. It's built in a narrow valley that channels massive river pressure into power-generating muscle, while still reducing carbon emissions significantly. And that's not just good PR. It's a crucial part of China's long-term plan to reduce reliance on fossil fuels without sacrificing economic growth. In short, it's green energy that still packs a punch. China's appetite for big builds doesn't stop at power and transport. Entire cities have been sculpted into mountainous terrain where most countries wouldn't dare break ground. These aren't just remote outposts, they're fully functioning urban hubs, complete with high-speed rail access, residential towers, and commercial centers. The logic is simple: where land is scarce or uneven, make it usable. Where others see a mountain, China sees a blueprint. It's an approach that turns geographic limitation into architectural opportunity. And that's not just clever, it's ruthless efficiency. In a world where most countries struggle to maintain roads, China is playing SimCity in real life, only with concrete, steel, and trillion-yuan investments. Ambition this bold doesn't just build skylines, it rewrites geography. When China decides to construct something, it doesn't ask whether it's possible, it just breaks ground. And nowhere is that more obvious than in the country's colossal hydropower projects and mind-bending urban developments, where mountains are leveled, rivers are rerouted, and entire ecosystems are re-engineered to power the future. The giant that lights millions. Construction on the Baihetan hydropower plant began in 2017, and in just 5 years, China delivered one of the most powerful and ambitious dams on the planet. Standing at 289 meters tall, roughly the height of a 95-story skyscraper, this concrete giant generates a staggering 16 million kilowatts of power through its 16 massive generator units. That's enough electricity to light up tens of millions of homes. Its reservoir is equally mind-blowing. Holding 2,700 cubic kilometers of water, it could fill over 8 million Olympic swimming pools. But Baihatan isn't just about energy. It also plays a critical role in water regulation and flood control, acting as both a power source and a protective barrier for surrounding regions. This dam is one node in a sprawling hydropower web along the Yangtze River. Managed by the China Three Gorges Corporation, this interconnected system also includes other megastructures like Wudongde, Xiangjiaba, Gupitan, and the world-famous Three Gorges Dam. Together, this river-wide network generates around 300 billion kilowatt-hours of electricity annually. That's the energy equivalent of replacing 90 million tons of coal and slashing 248 million tons of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, a carbon cut equal to planting about 5 billion trees. While Baihatan is a marvel, the Three Gorges Dam is pure madness in concrete form. Costing $37 billion, enough to build over 50 Burj Khalifas, this project remains the largest hydroelectric power plant in the world. Spanning the Yangtze River, it weighs a jaw-dropping 65.5 million tons, which is heavier than 180 Empire State Buildings stacked together. Construction took nearly 2 decades and required 27.2 million cubic meters of concrete, enough to build 85 Burj Khalifas, and over 450,000 tons of steel, the same amount used to make 60 Eiffel Towers. This wasn't just about building a dam, it was about declaring technological dominance on a global scale. Equipped with 32 turbine units, plus 6 more hidden underground, the Three Gorges Dam pumps out over 100 terawatt-hours of electricity every year. That's enough to power either the entire state of New York or the whole of the Philippines. And thanks to its hydroelectric design, it cuts 100 million tons of carbon dioxide annually, dramatically decreasing fossil fuel dependence. But power comes at a price. The project forced the relocation of more than 1.3 million people, showing that even in the pursuit of progress, human lives are deeply impacted by these feats of infrastructure. When it comes to solving urban crowding, most countries look outward or upward. China, however, looked straight at the mountains and said, "Let's flatten them," literally. In the Lanzhou New Area project, engineers reshaped the land itself by leveling more than 700 hills to create flat urban land. This isn't symbolic landscaping, it's full-on terrain surgery. They moved over 700 million cubic meters of earth, enough to fill 260,000 Olympic swimming pools. Just the terrain reshaping cost $2.5 billion, and the total project investment is projected to surpass $11 billion. Once completed, Lanzhou New Area will cover 86 square kilometers of newly created flat land, larger than New York City, and will be able to house 3.5 million people. The city is expected to contribute around $27 billion to China's GDP by 2030, making it a vital new hub in the country's Western economic strategy. This isn't just urban expansion. It's a construction milestone that proves China's ability to bend nature to fit its vision. Bold, relentless, and on a scale that's nearly impossible to match. If most opera houses whisper elegance, the Guangzhou Opera House practically sings it on a megaphone from a mountaintop. This isn't just another concert venue tucked into a skyline. It's a bold architectural statement, a fusion of art, science, and engineering that reshapes how the world sees China's cultural ambitions. With a $200 million price tag and the creative genius of the late Zaha Hadid behind its design, the Guangzhou Opera House doesn't just host performances, it is a performance, where nature meets concrete. Set right on the edge of the Pearl River, the building seems to flow with the current. Its design draws inspiration from natural elements. Its curves mimic river rapids. weather-worn canyons, and smooth pebbles shaped by time and water. The outer structure is a blend of concrete, granite, and glass. Yet it somehow feels weightless, as if sculpted by nature itself rather than steel and machinery. Zaha Hadid envisioned the building as a metaphor for two boulders sitting in a stream, their organic forms polished by endless water flow, and her vision absolutely delivered. Spanning 70,000 square meters and housing 1,800 plush seats, this opera house is one of the largest and most futuristic cultural spaces in China. Inside, acoustics have been engineered to perfection, allowing even the softest note of a violin to carry with haunting clarity. It's become a go-to venue, not just for opera, but for international concerts, theatre performances, and even high-profile political events. The Guangzhou Opera House isn't a solo act. It's part of a larger movement, China's massive investment in world-class cultural architecture. In the icy north, the Harbin Opera House stands as another feather in this very artistic cap. Where Guangzhou draws on water and rock, Harbin channels ice and wind. Clad in white aluminum panels that shimmer like snow, the Harbin Opera House looks like it was carved straight out of a glacier. Also designed to echo natural forms, it flows into the marshy wetlands around it, blurring the lines between building and environment. These architectural wonders are about far more than aesthetics. They're symbols. Through them, China is signaling its commitment to global culture and soft power, staking a place not just in economic and political arenas, but in the artistic one too. With each structure, the message becomes clearer. The future of opera, performance, and architectural wonder might just be taking center stage in the East. Wrapped in over 30,000 gleaming white aluminum panels and built at a staggering cost of $260 million, structures like the Harbin Opera House aren't just about showcasing art, they're flexing serious national muscle. These modern architectural marvels are redefining what cultural landmarks look like in the 21st century. They're more than venues. They're statements. With their bold forms and futuristic materials, they send a very clear message. China isn't just building for the present, it's designing the future. Every inch of these buildings oozes sophistication and ambition. The Harbin Opera House, in particular, seems like it was pulled straight out of a sci-fi film and dropped into a snowy landscape. Its curves are smooth and organic, blending seamlessly with the frozen surroundings. Designed to look like it emerged from the land itself. It's more than a visual spectacle. It's a symbol of how modern China merges art, nature, and engineering into one vision. Meanwhile, beneath the surface, China is pushing boundaries of a different kind. After 4 years of intense construction and a multi-billion-dollar investment, the country completed its most ambitious underwater tunnel yet, setting a new benchmark in infrastructure. The Taiyou Tunnel isn't just a practical route under Lake Taihu. It's an engineering breakthrough. Stretching 10.79 kilometers in length and spanning 17.45 meters across, it holds the title for both the longest and the widest underwater tunnel in China. With 6 lanes of traffic flowing beneath the lake, the tunnel has slashed travel time from half an hour to just 8 minutes, a massive improvement for commuters and cargo movement alike. This isn't a mere convenience. It's a game changer for the Yangtze River Delta, one of the busiest and most economically vital regions in the world. To make this tunnel as strong as it is sleek, engineers used over 2 million tons of concrete, enough to rebuild a substantial stretch of the Great Wall. The structure has been built with the future in mind, with a durability that's expected to last centuries, not just decades. Between gravity-defying opera houses and underwater engineering feats, China is proving that its infrastructure isn't just growing, it's evolving. Each project, whether above ground or below water, is a bold declaration of capability, creativity, and sheer ambition. It transforms how people experience infrastructure. The Taiyou Tunnel isn't a typical underwater passage. Designed with a sharp eye on aesthetics and preservation, It carefully maintains the natural beauty of Lake Taihu above it. Every stretch of the tunnel is lined with LED lighting, turning an everyday commute into a surreal, luminous journey beneath the water. Even if it doesn't hold the title for the world's longest tunnel, that honor still belongs to Norway's 24.5-kilometer Lærdal Tunnel. China's ambitions are clearly far from hitting a ceiling. Construction is already underway on the 105-kilometer Yantai-Dalian railway tunnel, a project so massive it could single-handedly reshape the global tunnel engineering scene. And while tunnels are cutting deep below, skyscrapers like the Shanghai Tower are shooting high above, making sure China dominates the skyline too. Rising a staggering 632 meters into the clouds, the Shanghai Tower is a masterpiece of vertical design that leaves most of the world's high-rises looking like Lego sets in comparison. Costing $4.2 billion to build, the tower is made up of 9 stacked cylindrical sections, each subtly twisting as they rise. This spiral isn't just for looks, it reduces wind pressure by 24%, a groundbreaking advancement in super-tall building design. Wrapped in a double-layered glass skin, the tower slashes energy use by 21% compared to conventional skyscrapers, setting a high bar for sustainable architecture. But the Shanghai Tower isn't simply a place to look at, it's a place to live, work, and breathe. Inside, it functions like a vertical city. Luxury malls buzz with high-end brands, sleek office floors host global businesses, and leisure zones offer a break from the concrete rush. And then there's the elevator. Reaching speeds of 74 kilometers per hour, it whisks passengers to the world's highest observation deck in a matter of seconds, giving them a front-row seat to Shanghai's ever-evolving skyline. From tunnels that glow underwater to towers that twist above the clouds, China's architecture is not only breaking records, it's bending expectations. Every new project doesn't just add to the skyline or roadmap, it changes the rules of what's possible. The Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge is far more than a mega transport link. At 55 kilometers long, it stands as the world's longest sea bridge, a monumental achievement that quite literally reshapes geography and rewrites how Asia moves. Stretching across the Pearl River Delta, it links Hong Kong, Zhuhai, and Macau into a single, tightly integrated economic powerhouse. This is the glue binding 3 of Asia's biggest financial hubs, transforming them into a unified corridor of commerce. A bridge built to challenge nature. Engineers didn't just face typical construction challenges, they took on the sea itself. The project cost more than $20 billion, making it one of the most expensive infrastructure builds in human history. For nearly a decade, teams worked through over 500 storms, typhoons, and shifting seabeds. The sea wasn't exactly friendly. To navigate the busy shipping lanes of the Pearl River estuary, engineers had to get creative. Instead of a continuous bridge, they sank a 6.7-kilometer tunnel beneath the waves, allowing massive cargo ships to glide overhead without disruption. And to hold that tunnel in place, they created 2 artificial islands, each about 100,000 square meters, constructed from gigantic steel cylinders pumped full of cement and sand. Yes, they literally created land in the middle of the sea just to make this tunnel work. Since its grand opening in 2018, the bridge has cut travel time between Hong Kong and Zhuhai from over 3 hours to just 30 minutes. In a region where time is money, that's not just a convenience, it's a revolution. Cross-border logistics have surged, cargo movement has nearly doubled, and with faster road access, people are commuting across cities the same way others would hop on a local train. This building the Greater Bay Area into a mega-region of unmatched scale. Home to 86 million people and a combined GDP that rivals entire countries, the area is fast becoming one of the most important economic zones on the planet. The bridge acts as its spine, quietly pulsing with traffic, trade, and opportunity 24/7. Everything about the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge was built with longevity in mind. Designed to last at least 120 years, the structure is made to resist typhoons, earthquakes, and the sheer corrosion of time and tide. Even the lighting and ventilation systems inside the undersea tunnel are embedded with advanced sensors, tracking everything from air quality to minor seismic activity. It's smart infrastructure in the most literal sense. And perhaps what's most remarkable, this entire thing was executed while coordinating across 3 distinct legal, financial, and engineering systems: Hong Kong, Macau, and mainland China. Multiple customs, languages, work cultures, and regulatory frameworks all brought together for a single shared goal. The logistics of that kind of cooperation alone are a marvel on their own. When a country with a $9 trillion GDP sets out to build something, it rarely settles for second best, and Beijing Daxing International Airport is living proof of that. This isn't just another airport, it's a high-stakes flex of engineering, infrastructure, and international ambition. Nicknamed the Starfish for its sweeping, futuristic layout, Daxing is not quietly joining the club of the world's mega airports. It's rewriting the guest list and hosting the after-party. The Starfish that took off. Rising from the southern outskirts of Beijing, Daxing is the world's largest single-terminal airport. With a $63 billion price tag and a footprint covering 700,000 square meters, it has become a centerpiece of China's aviation game plan. The terminal's radial design, the brainchild of the late Zaha Hadid, is more than an aesthetic statement. Travelers can reach any gate in less than 8 minutes, which is practically unheard of at airports of this size. Add in the fact that this sleek structure was built using 1.6 million cubic meters of concrete and 52,000 tons of steel, and you begin to understand the scale of ambition here. Daxing is also built to handle mind-bending volume. With 4 runways already operational, and space to add 2 more, the airport is geared to support 620,000 flights a year. That's about 1,700 flights every single day. At full throttle, it's expected to move 100 million passengers annually. To put that into perspective, that's nearly twice the entire population of the UK hopping on planes out of one terminal. One of Daxing's most compelling features is how effortlessly it connects. The airport plugs directly into China's sprawling transport ecosystem. High-speed rail lines, expressways, and multiple metro connections are woven into the terminal's structure, allowing travelers to reach central Beijing in just 20 minutes. For a city notorious for traffic congestion, this is no small feat. This interconnectivity doesn't just make life easier for tourists and business travelers, it also gives Beijing a strategic edge in the global aviation race. As international air traffic ramps up in the post-pandemic world, Daxing is positioning itself as a major gateway to Asia and beyond, capable of easing the overwhelming pressure on Beijing Capital International Airport. But this isn't just about planes and pretty terminals. Daxing plays a bigger role in China's economic puzzle. By anchoring the southern part of the capital, the airport is also driving growth in the broader Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei economic region. It serves as a critical link in ongoing efforts to build up the Xiong'an New Area, a futuristic city project that's meant to absorb Beijing's spillover population and industries. The airport is already spurring development of logistics hubs, business zones, and even tourism clusters. With China's economy continuing to shift toward high-value services and international trade, Daxing is set to become a powerhouse of passenger and cargo movement, reinforcing China's role as an economic juggernaut on the global stage. And if the skies weren't enough, China is also dominating the ground game. The Beijing-Guangzhou high-speed railway is another marvel of scale and speed. Stretching 2,298 kilometers from the nation's capital down to its southern economic dynamo, Guangzhou, this is the longest high-speed rail line in the world. It slices through 6 major provinces, serving as a lifeline for business, trade, and mobility across the country. Trains on this line reach speeds of up to 350 kilometers per hour, making the journey, which once took more than 20 hours by conventional train, possible in under 9 hours. Hundreds of millions ride this route annually, proving that China is lightning on land too. So whether it's the sprawling tarmac of Daxing or the steel veins of the high-speed rail network, China is sending a clear message. When it builds, the world takes notes. When a country launches a high-speed rail project with a price tag higher than most national defense budgets, it's not just laying tracks. It's laying the foundation for a new era of movement, power, and influence. And with bullet trains now slicing through the country at 350 kilometers per hour, China has turned what used to be a 22-hour haul into a breezy 8-hour ride. This isn't a casual upgrade. We're talking about a 70% cut in travel time that essentially rewrote the domestic map. Suddenly, regions that once felt like different time zones are part of the same morning meeting schedule. The project, which devoured $234 billion in investment, is anything but modest. With over 20,000 kilometers of sleek, high-speed track, it's one of the most expensive and ambitious railway systems in the world. Constructing this beast required around 60 million tons of steel and hundreds of millions of tons of concrete, numbers that almost sound fictional until you realize they've already been poured into reality. From design to execution, everything was oversized. Stations, tunnels, bridges, and the sheer workforce needed to pull it off. It's industrial-scale motion engineering supercharged with political will. But what makes this project even more impressive is how it refuses to just be a railway. It's a growth engine. More than 80 cities now sit along the high-speed rail corridors, and that positioning has changed everything for them. Commercial activity has surged. Real estate around new stations is booming. Tourism has exploded, with over 50 million additional trips per year now being logged thanks to the easy access. And the ripple effect doesn't stop at people visiting scenic spots. Industrial output in these connected zones has jumped by nearly 40%. Smaller cities that were once considered economic side characters are now thriving hubs, riding the speed rails straight into relevance. China's 50,000 kilometers dream. The current system is only one part of a much grander vision. China aims to stretch this high-speed network to an eye-watering 50,000 kilometers, forming the backbone of what might soon become the most connected country on Earth. The idea is simple but game-changing. If you can reach anywhere in hours instead of days, you shift how economies behave. You shift how people think about distance. You shift how a nation grows, and it's not just about domestic integration. China is eyeing international dominance in rail tech and exports too. Through the Belt and Road Initiative, the country is pushing its railway expertise across Asia, Africa, and Europe. The message is clear. If the world wants high-speed travel, China's already on track. And now, China's about to break through its most ambitious boundary yet, underground, beneath the seabed. The Yan'an-Dalian Railway Tunnel, currently under development, aims to connect two crucial coastal regions in the northeast. On the surface, it's a train tunnel. But underneath, it's a national challenge, an engineering dare, and a strategic lever all rolled into one. Projected to cost 200 billion yuan, this is not just another tunnel. It's a bold play to overcome the last geographic obstacle between major economic zones. Once completed, it will link Shandong with Liaoning across the Bohai Strait, slashing travel times and binding two vibrant coastal economies that have long needed a faster connection. Engineers are navigating an extremely complex seabed terrain with water pressure, shifting geological layers, and safety protocols that leave zero margin for error. If successful, this tunnel could become one of the deepest and most technically complex undersea rail projects ever built. It's being watched closely not just by engineers, but by geopolitical analysts, economists, and international investors. It sounds like science fiction, a tunnel longer than anything that exists, dug deep beneath the sea, carrying high-speed trains at hundreds of kilometers per hour. But in China, this isn't a dream. It's a blueprint, already in motion. A colossal infrastructure project, estimated at over $8 billion, is preparing to redraw the geography of Northeast Asia. And when it finally comes to life, it won't just be the world's longest undersea tunnel, it will be a flex of unmatched engineering and ambition. Stretching over 105 kilometers, the proposed undersea railway tunnel between the Shandong Peninsula and the Liaodong Peninsula will be more than twice the length of the Channel Tunnel. It's set to outdo even Japan's Seikan Tunnel, currently the world's longest undersea rail passage. This upcoming giant will serve as a strategic lifeline, uniting two bustling regions with a transport corridor designed to support not just passengers, but progress. The tunnel is currently in its planning and pre-construction phases. However, the groundwork has already begun, with testing, geological assessments, and engineering simulations underway. Full-scale development is expected to begin in the coming years, and when it does, the magnitude of what's coming will be hard to miss. Crews will dig through nearly 90 million cubic meters of seabed, contending with the crushing weight of ocean pressure every step of the way. They'll deploy some of the world's most advanced tunnel boring machines, each with a diameter of 15 meters. That's wide enough to fit a 5-story building sideways. These machines will chew through layers of rock and sediment to lay down twin rail lines, capable of handling over 200 high-speed trains daily. Currently, traveling between the two regions takes about 8 hours. Once the tunnel is complete, that time will shrink to just 40 minutes. Freight costs will plummet. Pressure on congested ferry routes and overbooked domestic flights will ease. Tourists, business travelers, and goods will flow freely between the economic powerhouses of northeast China and the Shandong region. Over 15,000 engineers, technicians, and construction workers will be involved in the project. The project will need around 5 million tons of steel, which is enough to build 60 Golden Gate bridges. That scale tells you everything about the stakes involved. But beyond the tunnels, trains, and tons of steel, this is about vision. China isn't digging a hole just to connect two dots on a map. It's opening up a new economic artery. The tunnel will unlock untapped potential in industries like logistics, manufacturing, tourism, and even real estate. Coastal towns that were once isolated could become major trade nodes. Ports could see increased traffic, and entire sectors could experience surges in employment and investment. This isn't just another fancy mega project with impressive stats. It's strategic, both economically and politically. By building a faster and cheaper link between the northern and eastern economic zones, China strengthens its internal cohesion, reducing dependence on foreign routes and bolstering domestic supply chains. In an era of shifting global power dynamics, infrastructure like this becomes more than transport. It becomes leverage. The tunnel is just one part of a much larger playbook. From high-speed rail crisscrossing the nation to smart cities rising from scratch, the country is in a race against time and everyone else. And as plans continue to evolve, so do the technologies involved. The use of AI-powered excavation systems, smart sensors embedded in tunnel linings, and predictive maintenance powered by machine learning all point toward a new era of hyper-efficient megaprojects. This is next-level infrastructure, bold, fast, and increasingly automated. So while the rest of the world debates ideas, China digs deeper, literally. With projects like these, it's clear that the future of infrastructure is being built today, right beneath the surface. And as China continues to redefine the boundaries of what's possible, one thing is certain: the world is watching. Who knows what's next on the horizon? Maybe the next big leap is just around the corner. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.